Hello, hello, great evening, greetings. Whenever you are watching this, thank you so much for joining us. I am Natasha L Brown, and I am going to be your host this evening here in Mingo. We have a special guest this evening. We're doing a session for August. And he is a male advocate. Enough is said right there. But he also is a radio host. He has moved his radio show over to YouTube, so he is a vlogger. And he has all right, he is joining us. He has a lot going on, especially when it comes to making sure the male perspective is shared. And let me add him. As women, we think we know the male perspective, but he is activates for men on their behalf and on our behalf. Because sometimes simple things are just a misunderstanding between the sexes, and it is something that is not taken lightly with certain men and certain women. So you definitely want to make sure you know. Let's see, we can remind people that we are on. Just know who you are talking to, communicating with, loving. A lot of times we don't always respond in a loving manner. So definitely you want to make sure that you understand who you are working with. So I'm just inviting a few of the members here. And Lawrence, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me clearly?
I can, but you are low, and let me find my headphones.
Let's see.
Usually it's on my end.
Mhm.
Headphones in. And so I know we're just going to flow a little bit, but while we are waiting, hopefully I don't have an echo. While we're waiting for some others to come on, if you'll just go ahead and share a little bit, let us know what you would like us to know about you.
That's good. Sure, no problem. Thank you for inviting me on. Actually, I've been doing radio, actually podcasts for over 10 years. I've been doing it. I actually started on Blog Talk Radio over 10 years ago, about 2007. And it actually was dating relationship. And then from my build, I used to build from MySpace. When MySpace was popular, I did a lot of collaborations and marketing on MySpace. So I would get people from around the world who would listen to the show. So at that time, my show was mostly neutral. So I dealt with both male and the female side. Some time came along, I stopped doing a radio show and I pulled back. So I had time, the life happened, situation happens. And I said, well, I need to get back because this is my passion. And I started veering towards talking. I talked to enough women to realize the real problem was not so much the women, but it was the men. I said, if I can get the men in the right place, then the women will follow and adjust accordingly. And so what I did was I started going fast forward towards the men. I say things that I know that's unconventional for a man to say. And then also too, on the flip side, I had to deal with some of the, how I'm trying to say this, some of the dynamics that with some of the women. So on my page, you'll see I deal with a lot of, the reason why I posted things on my page, I do believe those things, but it's to get people to think. Sometimes we're stuck in our paradigm. This is the only way it is. And a lot of times when it comes to relationship between man and woman, we only see it from our perspective. We never see it from the other person's perspective. So I'm going to give you a masculine male's perspective on how it is. I'm not going to give you a man that's going to cake to you, who's going to feed you sugar, who's going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth, how it is. And sometimes hearing that truth is too much for some women when they hear it. Like, wait a minute, you're bashing us. No, I'm not bashing you. I'm actually sharing with you how a man really thinks, or how a man wish they can think. It's funny. I'm out in public, and a lot of guys are like, "Man, I want to say what you want to say, but I can't say it."
Right.
So that's where I've evolved to now. So I have my show on YouTube is actually for men. Now, And then I have products that I also have, and it's for men and women. But my point is that my focus has been, how do I get the men to elevate to where they need to be at? If they elevate, then they will bring the women up.
And that is definitely a beautiful vantage point. But many men don't interact, especially in single settings. So it's very interesting to watch that. Now, the majority of those that are in the group have never been married, so they're truly single. And you know, you just go from relationship to relationship, and sometimes, like you said, we only see our perspective, we don't see the other person's perspective, and sometimes we don't even learn, we repeat the same things over and over. So some of your posts are very interesting, but when you know that you're coming from a vantage point of basically trying to make people think or see from a different way, it does help the interaction. I do read some of the comments, and sometimes it doesn't help the interaction because people are still upset, but it does help the interaction because you can see what people really think, how they are
Mhm.
thinking about relationships, whether they're just thinking selfishly or whether they're really concerned with the other person in the relationship. And it's not always about a romantic relationship. How are we interacting with people on a regular basis is definitely always something that needs to be thought about, because the
Correct.
way you're treating the person you're in a relationship with romantically is definitely the way you're treating everyone.
Right. And I think the biggest relationship that most people miss out on is the relationship that they have with themselves. Because when you have I have a complete relationship with yourself, I was listening to a teaching today. The guy said you have to give yourself permission to be you. And a lot
Right.
of times we have not given ourselves permission to be us. And so we get mad when people come in our lives who try to love us past the point that we even love ourselves.
Right.
And
Right.
so we're expecting them to do things that we don't even do for our own selves. So we got to give ourselves permission to love ourselves, to be certain things that I like, say 10 years ago, I was not even comfortable saying because of where I was mentally, spiritually, and financially, whatever the case may be. But now that I'm in the essence of who I am, I care less what people think or what people may say about what I like and what I don't like, or what I go for or what I don't go for, because I'm in my skin.
And that, you know, I've been dealing with that with women, selflessly selfish. So that's definitely something that I push because, especially when I started transition with my children, starting to move out of the house, it's a different mentality. And I found a lot of women were having, and a lot of couples, they call it the empty nest syndrome, where a lot of your relationships fall apart after the children leave the home. But what is amazing is when we begin to love ourselves individually, that transition is much easier because you're not so focused on the children, but you're focused on yourself. And then beyond the children, what are you going to do after they're gone? So that self relationship definitely is something that I've been pushing, male and female. We do need to learn to love ourselves more in order to be productive in any relationship that we are in. So
Definitely.
I know you have a lot of topics that you deal with for women, and then we'll come to the men. For women, what is one thing that we miss when we are in relationships with men? And you know, I know you'll have to make it general, but if you have a particular situation, it would help
Okay, I think the
kind of
big
go
one.
through.
I think one of the biggest things that's so important for women to understand in a relationship. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I posted this and they wanted to crucify me like Jesus, but we are we are not equal in the relationship.
What?
Not equal. We have two different functions doesn't mean that we're equal. See, in essence, how can I say this? If women were, if everybody were to be honest, and if women were to be honest, they don't want a man that they can look this way to. They want a man that they can look this way to. That they can say
Oh,
he's going this way. He has a vision. He's going somewhere. He's doing something. He's accomplished. He's a thinker. I can learn something from it. This biggest thing I hear women in certain age brackets, I can learn something from them. No woman wants to be with a man unless she settles with a man that she got to teach. Hey, did you clean your room? Did you put your socks up? Well, I got to tell
oh
you
yeah.
everything. What happens is now the dynamics of the relationship change. Now she's with a man that becomes her man child.
Right.
And then there's no attraction there, and there's definitely no sexual attraction there. So there becomes a big problem. So the equality that we think we want, that women say they want, you don't want that, because in essence, there has to be only one leader. And that's
One
a tough,
leader.
well, it has to be one leader. And what happens is, if you look at it this way, if he's leading correctly, it makes it easier for you to follow.
Yes.
And then there's no problem with the next word, the S word, which is submission. Because you know, he has my best interest in hand. He's leading our family. He's leading this relationship or whatever it may be in this direction. So I can go on the dark side of that. There's a dark side to that. And then we can go, and I don't mean dark far as with bad. I mean dark in some other areas of where people lead people in other situations. And then we go to the light situation where people are leading people, where there's a leader in that situation. But the problem is, if I flip it back, most guys are not leaders. So women are now upset and don't even know why, because now they have to take the role as the masculine and lead him.
Right. Right. And especially if you've been single a long time, most women are going to do that anyway, even subconsciously. So it definitely is something that needs to be discussed. And so you got some hand claps from Kelvin. He is definitely agreeing to everything you said. So finding out that you really do want somebody that knows more than you and that can teach you something. If you are a life learner, then it's definitely going to be easy. But if you're someone that thinks you know everything, that definitely makes it a little difficult. So we did that one for the women. How about for the men in relationships?
For the men in relationship, this is the biggest thing they have. One of the biggest, I talk to men every day. I deal with men issues every day. I'm part of a group and we talk. One of the biggest men is to flip the same thing. They don't know what they want. And they don't even know, they are not men.
Oh,
Just plain and simple, they are not men. This culture has so brainwashed them that they forget how to be men. And they don't even know how to lead, how to guide, how to train, how to do things. They don't know how to say no. I remember years ago, I spoke at a singles conference, and it was it's a Christian single conference. I spoke to the singles. I said to the men, "Are you men enough to tell her no?" They all buckled. Oh, they're looking for it. The women were going to come around the corner. I said, "No, you got to know what your standards are." And there it is. Most men don't have standards because they're driven by their lower nature and not by their higher nature.
Oh, wow. Now expand on that a little bit. The lower
So
nature versus the higher nature.
the higher nature is when a man has a standard, certain things and boundaries and demarcations that he has that he does not allow anyone for any situation to violate. So he has, like, for me, I don't, in any circumstance, do not cook me any eggs. That's just saying it's a standard. I don't like, say that just as an example. I don't like eggs. If she comes and cooks eggs or makes eggs around me, she's violating my standard. I have to say something about that. I don't like eggs. I don't even like the smell of eggs. So most guys would be like, "Oh, you know what, babe? It's okay. Are you going to eat the eggs? It's all right." He'll compromise. And what happens is, secretly in the woman's heart, she will begin to lose a degree of respect for him. And she don't even know it because she realized this man doesn't have standard. Now the man who's driven by his lower nature has no standard because he sees everything from his lower nature. How can I conquer and defeat this woman? When a man evolves and becomes in his higher nature, he's driven by his vision, his purpose, and where he's going. Then he realized every woman can't come into his sphere. So what I tell men is you have to vet women. You have to say, okay, what do you bring to the table besides the lower nature? I can get that all day. That's nothing. So that right there can be intimidating to someone. What do you mean? You can get any day. Well, I can get anywhere. There's no problem. But what else do you bring to the table? What do you offer? And what happens is it shifts the dynamic in the interaction with them. Then he goes on and say, well, let's see how you do with this. Women secretly love a man who offers them a challenge. Most guys don't know how to give a woman a challenge because they're so easily given to her because they're driven by their lower nature. They're thinking, how do I get to a lower nature? While the man with a higher nature is thinking, how do we take this to the next level where we 10 years down the road? How do you fit into my world?
Oh, wow. So that goes into a whole nother situation. The standards definitely, but having a goal beyond the immediate relationship and knowing that you're not going to be just doing the same thing basically in the next 5 years.
No.
So having some type of goal and knowing that there's vision there. And like you said, if a woman is settling, or even if a man is settling, then that means that there's no vision between the two, and the vision should come together in agreement. And if there's no vision as to the individuals, they wouldn't be able to come into agreement, because one person is just going to follow the other person because they think it's a good idea. But as they begin to grow apart, and it becomes issues that basically are unnecessary. When if you had a vision, you would have known whether you need to go any further with this person, whether it's something that, could be a friendship versus a romantic relationship.
Now you brought up something. You brought up the F word.
Uh-oh.
Friendship. Friendship. There's two things I don't know if I posted this. Maybe I said it on my YouTube, but it's this. There's sexual attention and non-sexual attention. So what happens is women are programmed or will say, well, we can be friends. A man is not always looking to be your friend. I tell women, I have enough friends. I don't need any more friends. And when I say that, they get, why would you say that? I said, I don't need any more friends. Because what she's doing is I call it a slow walk. What you're doing is you get my non-sexual attention, my masculine attention, and I get nothing in return. And so there has to be an exchange that takes place. So you're feeding off the light that I give you while I'll starve because I don't receive the femininity that you should be shining back to me, because I'm the sun shining to your moon. Your moon should be reflecting back to me your femininity. So a lot of times with that friendship thing, a lot of guys fall for that trick. I don't need no more friends. No. I'm going to be your lover, or we're going to be business partners, or this is what it is. I make sure I define up front, because I give you an opportunity to say, no, that's not what I want. I can leave. Had a situation. Went on met the young lady. We went, we went to the park, went to the water and things like that, talk cool. And said, well, let's meet up again. We went up again. We went to go eat some seafood and things like that. I said, nah, something ain't right. Then I realized what she was looking for and what I was looking for was not the same page, not on the same page.
Right.
Cut it. I'm not your friend. I don't need to be calling you. Well, how's your tires? And did you fix your patio? That's not me. Because what happens is she'll eat that non-sexual attention, and and the man is hoping for something else, and it's not what it is.
Yeah.
And so he mad at her. What's wrong with you? I thought we were just friends. We could eat popcorn together.
Oh Lord, not popcorn. Okay, so that brings about, well, basically still the standards and goals. Knowing definitely that you are who you are, and sticking to what you say you want and who you are. Because when you said you cut it, a lot of people will keep trying. Let's see if it's going to work out.
No.
Let's see what's going to happen. You don't have time for that?
No. I give it an example. Same. When I went with a young lady, we went out a couple of days, case it may be. And she was like, well, I haven't heard from you in a week. I don't chase. That's one thing I don't do. I don't chase women. If you're not interested, okay, you don't chase. So I call, I haven't heard from you. Oh, I've been busy. Actually, I need to tell you, I met up with somebody real serious right now. I said, good for you. I'm happy. I have no problem with that. I'm happy, and I wasn't being sarcastic because I can be, and I can, I wasn't being sarcastic. I'm like, good. Left it at that. So week later, hey, homie, you know anybody who can fix roofs? You know what happened to her message? It was left unread. You don't ever call me homie, and never ask me about a roof when you got a person you said you were just hooking up with who can give you that information. I am not that guy. That separates me from the herd.
Right, definitely. So definitely this is some good information. These tips from, I am calling him the male advocate. He is not calling himself that. And this is Lawrence Adams. He is my guest, always thought-provoking. In his Facebook post, he said his YouTube page is for men, so we won't even go there. But yes, we will. Go ahead and share that information for the men that are in the group so they can have a little support.
Okay, definitely. You can find me on YouTube. It was Lawrence D. Adams. You can find that. The last video I did was that for men, you may not be the prize. See, a lot of times we hear a lot of relationship people and dating coaches on talking about, men, you the prize. You the prize. Bruh, you may not be be the prize, and that's why you're getting the level of women that you're getting, because you still at the bubblegum machine level while you think you at the Heisman Trophy level. You're not. You need to do some things personally to get yourself groomed to be a prize, to be of value. So you can't be mad at the women because you're not a prize. And a lot of guys are like, oh, I needed to hear that. They didn't want to hear it, but it's true. I'd rather tell the truth than to lie to you. You're not the prize. You can't say you're the prize and you're in your mother's basement playing video games. You are not the prize. You don't even have. She would respect you better if you had a studio apartment with a baby little furniture, maybe a mismatched chair, but it's your place. Versus you in your mama's basement playing Space Invaders. Talking about come over.
I found 12 theaters.
Oh, wow. Listen, they are not the prize. So definitely that is something that is very interesting because, we always say, what are you bringing to the table? A lot of people don't even think about what they're going to contribute to the relationship or what they can contribute to the world in general. So knowing what you bring and pushing past not doing anything with yourself, basically, like you just said.
Think about it. What woman wants to deal with a man that ain't? No woman wants to deal with a parked car. She want to at least know the engine work, got oil, gas, and it can at least go to the next block.
Right.
I don't care. And most guys don't want to hear that because they want their ego strokes. And we have a lot of men who are just too sensitive. I don't care what Ralph Trespass said, that women want a man with sensitivity. No, they do not. They want a man that's going to be a man. He lied to you. He lied to you. Women want a man who they can say, this is my rock. They don't want a man who is a wet piece of tissue that every time something happens, he's crying. He crying more than a woman crying.
Oh, Lord.
And complaining. There's something wrong with that. So when I push the buttons and say, men, you need to step up, you need to step up, because you're not doing you're not pushing the biological buttons that are in women to follow you, submit to you, because you are not a man.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, now if you all need to, you want to jump in and ask any questions, you can definitely type them in and I will read them to ask Mr. Lawrence Adams so that we can get some clarity as to whether you're getting it or not. And definitely he sounds like he may be a little harder on the men than we probably thought as a male advocate, but he's pushing men in the direction that he knows that the women have been asking for. And like he said, he's been doing his radio show, you said over 10 years?
2007. 2007.
Okay.
2000,
so you started before I did. Okay.
2007, Blog Talk Radio. My first show was Do women like nice guys? And the answer
Do
is
they?
no. That's the most,
Right.
that's the fallacy of all fallacies. No, no woman wants a nice guy because she'll take the truck, put the keys in and run you over.
Oh
And
my
then run
goodness.
back and then pull back, reverse and run you back over. No woman wants a nice guy. She wants a man that as a man. And what happens is though, in this culture, men are taught the opposite. And so it's creating this funky energy between the two while we can't get along. The reason why
Okay.
the reason we're not getting along because men are not in their position and women are not in their position. So women are trying to be in the men's position and men don't know their position and they sinking down into the woman's position. There's no attraction. There's no polarity there. There has to be a negative and a positive for there to be the attraction.
So you finding that there's a particular demographic that is having the issue? I know you mentioned staying in your parents' basement, but that's not necessarily always the millennials like we think. A lot of older men have gone through certain situations and they almost have given up, like you said earlier.
The different graphics it does not matter. I think the millennials are catching a little bit, but the age part, it doesn't matter what age. I've seen men on many ages, races, all have the same situation. And they are secretly hurt by women who played them.
Oh, okay.
And so they have
So
not
they're not moving forward.
they're not moving forward. Yet on the other side, I see, because I talk to tons of women who are in their masculine,
Mm-hmm.
who are expecting a man, you need to be a man, man up. There can be no two masculines in the picture. One has to be masculine, one has to be feminine. And what'll happen is because I know I heard all the stories. Well, you know how the society is. I'm a single mother, and this and I heard this and this and this and that. I got a job. I got to do what I got to do. Ain't nobody here. I got to change my own tire. It does not stop you from being a female in your femininity. Those are all excuses. And it has femininity transcends looks.
Oh, right. Yes.
When a woman is feminine, now she can't be, too far gone, but it transcends look where a man it will cause something in him to, wait a minute, what is it about her? It's because she's in her femininity. And a lot of women have forgot how to be feminine. That's why when I use the word cement on my page, they go into an uproar. What do you mean? I'm the leader too. No, you're not the leader. Because they're too far gone in their masculinity.
Okay.
Independent is a masculine term. And men go and fight wars and do this. I know women are doing it now, but it's a masculine term. But when a woman calls, she's interdependent with the man. It's a feminine term. And so when a woman is too independent, then it shows she doesn't need anybody. Women are relational. How can you, not saying that men are not, but I'm saying it is in her to be relational with someone. It's innate.
Right.
She has to nurture. You can't nurture independence. She nurtures a child. If she was independent, she'd throw the baby to the side. I don't need this baby. Forget this baby. He'll starve. No, you interact. You're interdependent. You have to nurture femininity. You are not independent
Wow.
in nurturing.
And a lot of times we don't even think like that because, like you said, you have women that are in corporate America and they actually have to utilize the masculine just to maintain and use the feminine when they need it. But definitely, depending on what field or career they're in, a lot of times as women, we are working harder than men so that we can prove ourselves. So you have to be able to switch the two. And I know when I was in corporate America in a supervisory position, you definitely have to remember to come out of that role when you leave that office or that particular job. Because if not, you'll stay in that role and you'll get comfortable and forget how to be feminine, how to be a woman. And I think that's what's going on with a lot of women, not being challenged to be feminine. So definitely, if the
Ooh.
men, like you said, stood up and challenged us to be feminine in certain situations, it definitely would help remind us.
Now you said something, and I'm gonna keep it PG. But that is the case. Women who are in a supervisory position, um, 5K, we're making their money, whatever the case may be, five figures. They need a man, and this is hard, to remind them that they are a woman, they are feminine.
Hmm.
But it cannot be little, let me give him a name, little Ray Ray, who just go along with everything. And normally it's Tyrone who don't give two rocks about two things, that's able to check her and put her in her place, and she buckles. I watch it all the time. And I'm being completely PG in what I am saying. It happens all the time because
Hmm.
she wants the mass. She needs something to push uh, the dynamics back into her femininity. But she needs a man to be like, whatever, I need you to sit down right over there. I used to tell people that I got a groups of 20 that report to me, but I'm not reporting you. I
Right.
need you to do this. What happens is she'll think for a minute, almost get sort of, wait a minute, what's going on? And she'll, yes, baby, I got you. But it takes a man who is in his pure masculinity to do that.
Right. And so, what does that actually look like, especially for, and you have role reversals, and I know not necessarily as majority, but you do have a lot of men that stay home because you have women that can make more than the man. And so, with that being said, in the household, how can a man actually take his masculinity back and move forward and still be a stay-at-home dad? Let's do it that way.
Ooh, you gave me a hard one, but as I do have, like I said, there is an answer in the house. So what the man must do at all points, she can make more money than he does, but he
Mhm.
cannot lose his masculine position in that house and in her life. He must be the dominant no matter what. She can come in, she bringing $1 million home, and he only bringing $50 a week. But if he's in his masculine and she knows it, and he doesn't take 2 cents from her, he doesn't take anything from her, or that
Right.
it'll work. But most guys flip, and you walk around with an apron on. They walking
Hmm.
around, they walking around Mr. Mime. See that whole cultural programming, social program, Mr. Mime. Oh, the guy just in this that. It's okay, it's cool. So it switches everything. But if a man is in his masculine and he said, look, okay, I need you, if you can do it, hey, this is our vision where we gonna go, she gonna do it. But most guys don't have the kahunas to do that.
To move forward.
to,
Okay.
to move
So,
forward, or to take that stand with her.
oh, to take the stand with her. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, making sure as a woman, let's see, I'm just going to ask it. So, if we notice that the man that we're in a relationship with is not in his full masculinity, would it be easier coming from another man or from the woman that he's in a relationship with that he needs to kind of transition?
It would be better if another man was like, yo, man. See what men will do, we'll pull you to the side. What a man, what we should be doing is like, yo, man, hey, you allowing this in your house, man? This going on, this and that? Yeah, man. Yeah, it's okay. What we'll do, we'll pull his card. But on the flip side, a woman has a way of her influence,
Hmm.
if done correctly, where she doesn't beat him with it, but that baby, it's something when you take out the trash. It's something when you looking online and monster.com at them jobs, it just turns me on. It does. I like when you just flex your muscle. You do. I mean, look, I found 5 jobs, baby. Ooh, I like that. Come here, let me show you how much I like it. Switch, the whole dynamic switches.
Right.
It's all in how it's done.
Okay.
But if she's like, you ain't no good, you just like your daddy. My mama told me not to marry you. You said, man, I don't know why I'm dealing with a man like this. You ain't no man. You still a little boy. Look at you. Da, 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 da. What she's doing is crushing her rock. It's all in how it's done, how it's being said. So yeah, that's
All
how it
right.
can be done.
Okay, so definitely women, we need to learn the art of basically a little negotiation on the side there and getting what we want and making sure that the man is in his position. And so what is always amazing to me is the balance that we can find in a relationship that we don't necessarily look for, because a lot of times if you have women or men that are looking for someone that they can dominate, you don't get that balance you need, but people think that they're getting what they need because they're able to control a particular person, which says a lot about that person. But when we are actually in our balance, the relationship definitely works better. So in finding the balance, and you touched on it a little, with saying having the standards, and once you realize that it's not going into a romantic situation, it's going more into a friendship situation, that you want to back out of that particular situation, or the way you said it was cut it off.
What I told the men is, when that situation happened like that, I give her a snowsuit, some Uggs, and some mittens, and I send her to Antarctica.
Oh Lord, help us out.
Stage left. I don't, because if a man does not do that, she's going to have better respect for him. Like, you know what? At least he was honest with me. At least I didn't waste his time, and he didn't waste my time. I'd rather get a snowsuit and just sing bye-bye ice.
Oh my goodness. So just cutting it off, and most people can't do that. Even if it's just been 1 or 2 days, most people wouldn't be able to just walk away like that. So that definitely takes a lot of discipline.
It takes a lot of discipline, but that's why I told women I don't go on dates. I don't even, like I said, I'm not looking for friends, and I pretty much don't go on dates. Like, what do you mean you don't go on dates? No, because what I'm doing is, if I'm going, like I go to this place here where I'm at, it's a skyline and things like that. We're going to have a moment. I normally go here. You can come along. It's not a date, because the date becomes all formal and hi, how are you? How are you? What are you doing? What do you like? What's your favorite color? I don't know. What's yours? Oh, I like this place. No, if we in a moment, then I take you from that place to another place where they're dancing and music going around. And we're doing a bachata and all like that. Then I take you, and then we go have dessert somewhere else. You had a whole experience and not a date. So
Okay.
dates, I say I don't do dates. Sorry. Don't. Well, why don't you? No, because 2 things. A lot of times women go so they can get that free meal. I'm about to eat tonight, girl. We about to go.
So they just get an experience, not a meal, Lawrence.
Sometimes don't even get that. We about to get some Papa Do's, girl. Hold up. Then 2, if a woman is on her phone too much on the day, I don't say nothing. I'm like, snowsuit is getting ready, activating.
Oh my goodness.
Because my attention and my time is of value.
Uh-huh.
And if you on the phone, no, it's me and you time. I'm not on mine. I got kids. I got stuff going on. I put my phone down, turn it down. The only time I get on, I may take the picture of the food and I post that. But if you constantly on it, it's time to go. It's time. I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be nice about it, but you know what? Oh, I gotta go. I got work to do.
Right. And it makes a big difference if you're not, most people now don't think they have to interact with other people. So it does make a big difference to get to know people, especially like you said, in your own setting. So you can be more comfortable and really get to know that person instead of doing the interview process. So that is a good idea, definitely.
I don't like the interview process. And please, I don't, this is, I give one of my secrets away. I normally don't give one of my secrets away. What I do is, what I do is ask women this one question. If you have 3 days to pack to go out the country and you only have 5 items to take, what would you take?
Uh-huh.
And so that opens it up. I learned so much about her versus asking, well, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? I learned so much about what 5 items she's going to take in 3 days than I would by asking a ton of interview questions.
Okay.
It's
So
different.
you are a rarity, basically, definitely. Knowing what you want, because you talked about having the standards, having a goal and a vision, definitely. And most people don't have a vision as to where they're going or what they want to do within the next 7 days, and definitely don't push it any further than that. But knowing who you are and trusting that and being comfortable enough to show that when you interact with other people, especially for the first time, because, you know, we put on our masks when we first meet people instead of actually being who we truly are, so that we can get to the point of being able to cut somebody off and just move on.
Right.
So the games that are played with basically trying to have a productive relationship is amazing. And, you know, many questions that are asked, especially when you have relationship sessions, more so veer to someone that's already in a relationship versus trying to get into the right relationship. So you've definitely given us some nuggets tonight as to what to look for in ourselves, let alone when we're looking for someone else to be in a relationship with. So once we get our standards, our vision, our goals together, it makes it easier to attract the right person. And if we've attracted the wrong person, it makes it easier to move forward without that person. So definitely keeping in mind who you are is a big thing that I am taking away from what you said this evening. What is one thing that you want, no matter what the sex is, male or female, that you want us to keep in mind when interacting with each other?
What the biggest thing that you can do when interacting with each other, and that's, it's funny, I have two products that talks about that, is one is you must know yourself. So the one product is called The Power of Believing in Yourself. And the other one is audiobook. And the other audiobook is The Secret Invisible Crown. And realize who you are to you. If you realize that there's a crown that's inside of you that you have been neglecting to put on top of your head. And that is the reason why you're attracting everything peasants and not royalties, because you don't believe that there's a crown on top of your head. Then once you get that, you must believe in yourself. Most people don't wholeheartedly believe in themselves. They're looking for everybody else to believe in them. So if those two things were coupled together, those two products were put together, the power of believing in yourself, and then the secret invisible crown, I think especially for men and women, it's amazing that a lot of men bought that, like, man, I needed that. It's because they didn't realize, they talked about their like this, but they realized that they are royalty. We can say I'm a queen or I'm a king, but you don't believe it inside.
Right.
And so that's the two things, I think, the two getaway points right there. It always starts within you first, and then is reflected out. I know you know that.
Right, right. Definitely the shine. And you talked about that shine, the sun and the moon shining and reflecting against each other. So definitely that's always a beautiful experience when you can find somebody that you have that balance, have that chemistry with, and you can move forward in growing something. Because a lot of people don't realize, and I mentioned this before, and everyone does not think about that. Because like you said, if you're thinking on a lower level, you're not thinking about growing something, having somebody that you can move forward with, building something other than just a relationship with. Like you said, you know, it many times it's almost as a business transaction. No love lost, but if you're not in a place where you can actually see yourself more than a year from now with this person doing something more than what you're currently doing, it makes a big difference. So having that mindset to move forward, having that mindset to build, two people with a vision, bringing their vision together so that they can create, definitely is something that you are, well, we should be looking for.
That
So
and being completely honest. If you're looking for a lower nature, just be honest. This is what it is. You get an option to walk away or not. Stop playing. That's one thing I don't like guys who do. They lie. I don't mean to go on a tangent, but I know we got a couple more minutes. But Dude, stop lying. If that's what you want, say that so she can walk away. I'm not into that. I'm into this. Stop
Right.
lying to these women. You cannot build trust with her because you're lying. You hoping one thing, you want one thing, but you're doing another on hope to get the thing that you really want. You're lying. She knows that. Don't you think women know that? All right, let me go back down. Yeah.
Most men don't think about that. Most women, and you know, a lot of things, just like you're saying, if you have a woman that's strong in her masculinity, she's doing the same thing. So just being mindful and being true to yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
you've mentioned that several times, being true to yourself, knowing what you want and what you don't want, knowing what you'll accept and what you don't accept. And we talked about that before in some sessions. Knowing what you want, most people don't know what they want. So it does make it hard to get into a productive relationship to move forward. Most people are scared of being in a long-term relationship. So the inconsistency definitely works for them. So knowing what you want right now and being able to work toward that is always something that's going to work in your advantage. So one more time, let us know how we can get in touch with you here on Facebook as well as on YouTube.
Okay, definitely. You can reach me at Lawrence D. Adams. That's at Facebook. And also on YouTube. Now that YouTube channel is raw, uncut. You might hear a couple cuss words here and there, but it is raw and uncut, but it's for men. And ironically, even with that, I did a drop with my youngest son and we broke down some scripture. Oh my God, from Proverbs and Ecclesiastic. Oh my God, I ain't gonna even go there about why men need to read Proverbs and Ecclesiastic. My youngest son dropped
Uh-huh.
that. That was powerful. I
Okay.
looked at him like, you my son? But he broke some things how Ecclesiastes was set up for men. For them, the writer of that was a person who already lived their life and they were giving them wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And that men need to go and look at it from that point of view, as a man who already has lived this life, and he can give you a landscape from a different view versus a Proverbs giving you a view from right here. So I was like, wow, you 16 giving me that? I did like, you know, this, you doing good, boy. But so you can reach me at Lawrence D. Adams on YouTube and on Instagram and on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So you have any
Okay.
questions about products? I've been sitting on this book that needs to come. Another book need to come out, and that is the Queen Maker.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Definitely. Queen Maker. Okay, we cannot wait. Definitely. Lawrence, I do appreciate you joining me this evening and sharing your wisdom. We'll have to do something else very soon. So definitely appreciate you sharing your time with us. And if you all still have any questions, Lawrence is a part of Mingle, the group. The group is private, so you can ask the questions inside the group, or you can friend him here on Facebook and go ahead and inbox him the questions. But either way, there's a way to get in contact with him to make sure you get your questions answered. And if you are watching this in the replay, please post any questions that you have, anything that, any responses that you want to share, if you agree or disagree with anything, and we will be able to respond to you here in the group as well. So as always, remember, I love you, and self-love is your superpower. Everyone have a great week. Thank you.